6.2.4 Domain and range of square root graphs. A such a question. How do I find the domain and range of a graph? Skill. I can find the domain and range of square root functions. Find the domain and range for each function graphed. To find the domain, you want to make vertical lines on the left and the right side of that graph. Left, right, x. So for the domain of B, we have this side and this side. The left side looks like it is going off the page. So we can assume that is going to negative infinity. On the right side, x stops at -2. So domain of B is from negative infinity to -2. We put a bracket where the -2 is because that's included in our domain. To find the domain of A, still left, right, x, it starts with 2 and it ends with going off forever. We could say that that's infinity. So the domain of A would be from bracket 2 to infinity. Infinities will never be included, that's why we put parentheses there. The domain of C, left, right, x, goes off the page, infinity, -2 again. So the domain of C would be from negative infinity to -2, the same as the domain of B. And the domain of D is similar to the domain of A. Left, right, x, it starts at 2, ends at infinity. It goes off the page. Now for the range, that's down, up, y. We look at the lowest y and then the highest y of the graph. So for the range of B, the lowest goes through 1, the highest goes off the page. So it starts at 1 and then the highest goes up forever. That would be positive infinity. So the range would be from 1 to infinity. We also include the 1 again. That is a point on the graph. Okay, range of A, down, up, y. The lowest is 1, the highest goes up forever to infinity. So similar to the range of B, it's going to be from 1 to infinity. Okay, range of C, down, up, y, goes low forever, and then the highest goes to -1. The range of C is from negative infinity to -1. And the range of D, down, up, y, the lowest still negative infinity, the highest the same as range of C, -1. So the range of D is from negative infinity to -1. What kind of connections do you see here so far? Let's find the reflections. The reflections of B from A. We're going to say it's from A, so this one we'll say that there's no reflections. Now B, it flipped over this axis right here. That is the y-axis. Now C, it flipped over both the x-axis and the y-axis. Because if we start here, we flip, we get to B, and then if we flip again, you get to C. And then if we look at D, reflections from A to D, well, you could do across the Y, across the X, and then across the Y again. But you could also just say across the X. Alright, try the examples below this. And when we're talking about reflections, it's again from the first quadrant. Be sure to answer the essential question.